covering the islands of the Bahamas. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
Good evening and welcome to The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. A vessel springs a leak and gallons of oil spill into the waters of the northern Bahamas. This is what we know so far from officials. Around 4:30 this morning, a Mediterranean shipping vessel left the Grand Bahama port and someone on board the ship realized oil was leaking from the storage tank. About 12 miles offshore, the crew of the vessel contained the spill. The heavy fuel oil in the damaged storage tank was then transferred into a new tank on the vessel. There were about 3,000 barrels of oil on the tanker, but officials can't say exactly how much spilled into the waters. Minister of Transport and Aviation Glenys Hannah-Martin says there's no need for immediate intervention and no international assistance is needed because the spill is only a Tier 1 oil spill, which is the lowest of a 3-tier scheme. The Best Commission will soon do an assessment of the spill to see if there was any damage to the reef, especially considering officials don't know what caused the damage to the vessel in the first place. Minister Hannah-Martin says she's comfortable in saying that the harbor and the environment are not at any risk. We'll have more on this developing story. Meantime, Prime Minister Perry Christie says he's still looking into the allegations surrounding NIB's director Algernon Cargill. He told us today he hopes to bring an end to the matter soon.
All of the allegations or assertions that are made, I think the Bahamian public could expect that as the Minister of Finance, I will do the right thing. And whatever is said in my name, at the end of the day, right, they must expect me to do the right thing.
Now, the FNM, meantime, has called for the resignation of NIB Chairman Greg Moss after several allegations surrounding his involvement in the NIB scheme surfaced. The Prime Minister said that the FNM is still looking to gain some type of traction with the Bahamian people.
The FNM is trying to come back. I respect them for the obligation that they have to speak to matters of public importance, to hold the government as accountable as they can. But they can't tell me when to respond. I will respond in the right way, at the right time, and that might be today, it might be tomorrow, but I will respond.
Detainees at the Carmichael Road Detention Center are in the midst of a hunger strike and other forms of protest. According to Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell, it all stems from the death of a detainee there yesterday. Minister Mitchell says a task force was sent to the detention center where about 130 immigrants are detained. He adds that the matter is being handled by Parliamentary Secretary in the ministry, Cleola Hamilton, who arrived at the center this afternoon. Mr. Mitchell said the government agencies are also looking to bring about a resolution, but he adds that the problems stem from the infrastructure and the ministry has been working on the problem for years. The government, he said, is committed to making those repairs, always keeping in mind that they have to be humane about the way they go about dealing with detainees.
It isn't to that extent. I mean, it's not cosmetic. It's more difficult to resolve than cosmetic, but some of it is cosmetic, but the facilities need a general upgrade, and so we're trying to get that done. The main thing, though, is to get on top of this the social issues that arose as a result of I think as a result of the death of this detainee last evening.
In other news tonight, the body of the late Tommy Robinson lay in state today in the National Stadium named in his honor. Julian Gibson was there as one of the most celebrated sportsmen this country has produced was remembered.
Leading the list of dignitaries viewing the body of Thomas Augustus Robinson this morning was the nation's chief Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie, Deputy Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis, a number of cabinet ministers and senators. For the Prime Minister, Tommy Robinson was given a state funeral because he inspired our nation.
This stadium is the symbol for Bahamians who have had glory on the field internationally. What they have done and what Tommy has done, what the athletes who succeeded have done for us, we can never pay for the knowledge of the Bahamas that has been planted in the minds of people around the world. It is just priceless. And so Tommy Robinson is deserving of even more.
It has been said that Tommy Robinson started the Bahamas' dominance in track and field, and the Prime Minister totally agrees.
The country, has recognized him as a sufficiently great man to name a national entity after him forever and forever and forever. And so when all of the athletes go and perform before the people in this stadium, they will be running with the memory of Tommy Robinson in mind in a stadium named after him. And his achievements now speak for themselves.
Now, the funeral services for Tommy Robinson will take place this coming Wednesday, 11 a.m. at Christ Church Cathedral. Reporting for the ZNS News Network, I am Julian Gibson.
Now, as the love poured in for his father, Cyril Robinson, speaking on behalf of the family, thanked the Bahamian people for their overwhelming love and support.
A lot of people say you don't get what is due to you until you've passed. Well, I could say this for sure, categorically. My dad got everything and more while he was alive. And the outpouring of love is just the icing on the cake, so to speak, because, as you indicated, we've received literally hundreds of emails and texts and phone calls from persons all over the world to show how much my dad meant to them in whatever capacity it was.
Prime Minister Perry Christie is defending the reinstatement of the former commandant of the Royal Bahamas Police Force Reserves, who was recently appointed to the post of Assistant Commissioner of Police. After being released from the force, Stephen Seymour took a job as head of security at the now-defunct City Markets food store chain. Last week, Police Commissioner Ellison Greenslade announced that in accordance with Article 119 of the Constitution, on the recommendation of the Right Honourable Prime Minister, the Governor-General, His Excellency Sir Arthur Folkes, approved Seymour's appointment.
One who's opened their mouth. Where were they when unceremoniously a large number of police officers were dismissed or retired from the force? People who had not reached the retirement age, and I can call their names. Did these people make any comment at all, or are they just opening the mouth now? Secondly, I am satisfied when the commissioner applied to me with the responsibility of doing it. He was applying for someone who's going to go on the front line to fight crime in this country, who's going to make a mark in fighting crime for this country. And what this country needs now is for people to focus on fighting the crime. We are threatened, with the avalanche of crime that has been taking place in this country. We need every able-bodied officer we could put into the fight against crime, and it so happens that if anyone knows Stephen Seymour has a reputation for crime fighting. The streets know him. I'm satisfied the streets know him. I'm satisfied the streets knows now that they got somebody on the ground who will join with the other crime fighters to put up a valiant battle that is necessary in this country.
The government is committed to doubling its investment in education, and according to Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald, a part of that plan is bringing schools across the country up to the standard of the rest of the world. To that end, the first phase of the computerization of schools was launched today, the brainchild of former Education Minister Alfred Sears. 76 schools across the country are now a part of this development, which will include specific subject computer labs. Minister Fitzgerald says $2.2 million has been invested, and that's just the start. And while there may be some concerns about security, the minister says that's been taken care of.
To these labs being set up, certain security and was put in place with regard to securing them by bars and so forth, and reinforcing the doors, as well as the security personnel who will be on staff here will be very much aware that they have to continue to check on these classrooms. But we had, as a prerequisite to putting these in as part of the project, was to ensure that the labs in particular were secure.
Now, Prime Minister Christie says that with the advent of this new development, Bahamians can expect a better quality of high school students in the years to come. The project is being supported financially by the Inter-American Development Bank. Operations Manager Sharon Miller.
When we look at this achievement from a national perspective, we can see that education is headed in the right direction. In the not too distant future, we will begin to see a new caliber of high school graduates, those who are able to embrace technology in meaningful ways, maximize their potential, and in the process, build a better Bahamas.
For this particular kind of loan, one dealing with the infusion of ICT in education and in reforming curriculum development and in looking at the whole school administration, and in addition, in involving the community in school, in the teaching learning experience, the bank was really very happy to partner with the government and to accompany the government in this process.
Well, still to come in the Bahamas tonight, the latest on that shooting that left one man dead and the robbery gone bad that left a teen girl in hospital. All those stories and more after the break.